Hello everyone, I welcome you all to online platform of Yourpedia education. My name is Rakesh Verma and this video is completely going for the civil engineering students, those who are preparing for various PSUs. So in this video, I will be discussing the Bharat Dynamics Limited previous question paper with detailed solution. I'll give you the detailed solution of this particular paper, which was held in this year only in the month of April. And also BDL has advertised few vacancy for civil engineering student recently. Those who haven't filled the form yet, they can go and fill the form. Now, before going to the video, let me tell you the current scenario of PSUs. In this year only, in the starting of this year, SJVN recruited a mass vacancies for civil engineering student. After that, HPCL and then SAIL. Now, COAL also will advertise mass vacancies within 2 or 3 months of span. So those who are preparing for PSUs and keen to join PSU as a civil engineer, they can join with us. So in this video, I will be discussing the detailed solution. But before going on that particular topic, I will discuss first the subject-wise distribution of BDL exam that was held in this year only. So subject-wise distribution, from where you can get the idea which subject is important for you and which subject are not that much important. So as you can see that environment engineering, they have asked the 15 question from environment engineering, in which mostly they have asked the question from water quality parameters and air pollution. Most of the questions from water supply engineering and air pollution. Next subject is soil mechanics. As you know that soil mechanics is very important subject in all AEJ exam or PSU's exam. Soil mechanics always contain maximum portion of marks or maximum number of questions in every exam. So in soil mechanics, they have asked 13 questions around, and they have covered the whole area, soil mechanics as well as foundation engineering. Now, next subject is highway engineering. They have asked 9 questions from it, and 9 questions according to the length of the subject. 9 questions is a good number. Next, surveying. Surveying, they have asked the 8 questions. From hydrology, they have asked 7 questions. In hydrology, I have also included the portion of groundwater hydrology. So it includes hydrology portion, groundwater portion also, and they have asked 7 questions from it. Next subject is fluid mechanics, and number of questions they have asked is 6. In fluid mechanics also we can include the OCF, open channel flow. They have asked only 1 question, but in combined, you can say that they have asked 7 questions. So 7 marks is also a good number. Next, RCC, they have asked reinforced cement concrete, 6 questions. Most of the question is from the codal provision. Next, strength of material, 5 questions. Now, you can divide these particular subjects on major or minor subject. In major subject, you can include environment engineering, soil mechanics, highway, surveying, hydrology, FM and RCC, and strength of material. So if you are preparing for any PSU exam, you have to complete these subjects first, because it will contain most number of the question in your exam. So prepare according to the requirement of exam. So in every exam, you will see that these subjects will contain most number of questions. Now, the minor subjects, you can consider building material and construction. And I have seen this paper. In this paper, most of the questions they have asked from the building construction, not from the building material. they have asked 1 or 2 questions from building material. Most of the questions were from building construction, like flooring, like arch, roof. Next, applied mechanics, 4 questions. Next, irrigation, 3. Steel as well, 3. And railway also 3 questions. Now, CPM part, 2 questions. Structure was 1 question, and that was from static determinacy. And you know that in structure part only 3 topics are important. First is determinacy, indeterminacy. Second one is your arches, and third one is your truss. So you can just complete these topics. That's it. Now the minor subject are these. So after completing the major subject, you can go to the minor subject and prepare these subject as per your exam. So total number of questions here you can see is 90. 10 questions they have asked in mathematics. So 10 questions was from math and 90 questions from civil engineering. So total it is 100. And for that 10 number of questions, we will provide a separate video for that particular portion. Now, level of question subject wise. If I talk about the level of question, I have divided the number of questions as per their level in this particular pie chart. As you can see that 50% of questions were very easy, not very easy questions, that is directly from any particular concept or directly from any data or directly from any IS code. Next, 40% around question were of medium level, in which you have to think about little bit before solving that particular question. Now 10% question were in harder portion, in which I have considered those questions which were lengthy, not that much hard, but lengthwise those questions were longer, because you have to give more time to that particular question. That's why I put it on the harder side. So this is the level of distribution of BDL question paper. Now let's start the solution of BDL exam that was held in this year only. So first question was from soil mechanics. The unit weight of completely saturated soil, gamma W, is given by. As you all know that general formula for bulk unit weight is gamma MB G plus SE gamma W upon 1 plus E, in which E is void ratio, G is specific gravity, gamma W is unit weight of water, and gamma MB is bulk unit weight. So they have asked for saturated soil. Now for saturated soil, the value of degree of saturation is 1. So if I put the value of S is equal to 1, this formula will look like this, and the correct option will be B, G plus E multiplied by gamma W upon 1 plus E. So correct option is B. Now next question. This question is from fluid mechanics. The clearance between 75 mm diameter shaft and its general bearing is 0.8 mm. The speed of 120 rpm take dynamic viscosity mu 1 poise, then the shear stress induced in the lubricant is. Now see, they have asked shear stress, and you know very well for Newtonian fluid, tau is directly proportional to du by dy. Now we can remove this directly proportional sign with mu. Mu is your dynamic viscosity, du by dy. Now we have to calculate first the velocity. Velocity you can calculate by pi dn. They have given the speed 120 revolution per minute. Now diameter they have given 75 mm. Pi 3.14. dy, the distance between general bearings, they have given. Mu they have given. Now you can easily put these value on this particular formula. So u pi dn. Pi dn, the value will be 0.471 meter per second. Now tau in Pascal. So as you know that 1 mu 1 pi is equal to 0.1 Pascal second, because all values in meter per second, so that's why we have to change it. So yes, we have to convert it. So now they have given the value of mu is, I think, 10, no, 1. So 1 pi is equal to 0.1 Pascal second. So I have converted it in Pascal second. This is your velocity and this is the distance. They have given this distance in mm, so you have to divide it from 1000, put it here, and this will come out as 58.9 Pascal. Now the all options are in kg per meter square. So we have to change this Pascal into Pascal is Newton per meter square. This value is in Newton. So we have to divide this value from G. G means 9.81. Divide this value from G, it will come out as 6 kgf per meter square. So right answer will be C, 6 kg per meter square. Okay. Next question. The chloride content of public water supply should not exceed. The right option is 250 mg per liter. As you all know that according to the IS code, if we increase the chloride content above 250, the taste of water will change. So to maintain the taste of water, the chloride content should be within the limit of 250 mg per liter. As per Indian standard IS 500 2012, and that was revised later in 2018, the acceptable limit for chloride content is 250 mg per liter, and permissible limit in the absence of alternate source is 1000 mg per liter. And WHO drinking water guidelines, no strict health related limit, but taste deterioration occur above 250. It means that if chloride content is greater than 250 mg per liter, then taste of water will change. So the limit of chloride content should be within 250. And this is for acceptable limit for public water supply. Now next question, the apparent specific gravity of soil is 1.84. The specific gravity of soil is 2.68. Determine the following. First we have to calculate the void ratio under the assumptions that the soil is perfectly dry. And second, they have asked void ratio if the sample possesses water content of 7%. So we know the formula. This is apparent specific gravity or dry specific gravity, that is equal to soil solid specific gravity upon 1 plus E. So they have given the each and every value. We have just rearranged this formula from here. Like we can change it to 1 plus E towards your right side, then GS by GD. Now we have to calculate E. That will be GS by GD. GS by GD minus 1. The value of GS they have given as 2.68 and GD or GM 1.84. Put it here, it will come out as 0.45. It will come out as 0.45. Okay, from the option you no need to evaluate the second portion, because from the options you can directly tick the answer. Like void ratio assumption based on the perfectly dry, no, we have come up with 0.45. Now B 0.45, 0.65, 0.55. So this is the right option. B is the correct answer. So option B is the correct. You can also calculate second portion, but according to the length of the exam, if one answer is matching, you no need to calculate second portion just to save your time. But we can also see the solution of that particular portion. So GM related to GS and SE. So it related like GS plus SE upon 1 plus E. SE is Sevak formula, C SE equal to WG. So SE is replaced by WG. You can take out GS common from here. Then we'll remain with 1 plus water content upon 1 plus E. Now rearrange it. 1 plus E will go to the right side. Then GS 1 plus water content divided by GM. Now E will be equal to GS 1 plus water content upon apparent specific gravity minus 1. GS they have given 2.68. GM apparent specific gravity they have given 1.84. W water content 7%. Put these values in this particular expression and you will get 0.55. So the correct option for that previous question was B. Now next question. The portion of hydrograph starting from the end of crust portion and extending up to the consignment of ground water flow is known as. So hydrograph, if we talk about hydrograph is a graphical representation between discharge is in meter per second, and time is always in hours. Right? Now the hydrograph will look like somewhere look like this. This is the waste flow. And this is your hydrograph. So from this point to, from starting point to this top point, this is the crust point. Here you will get the maximum discharge. This is the rising limb. This top particular portion is known as crust, at which we get the maximum discharge, and this is the falling limb. Falling limb also known as the recession limb, right? So they have asked in the question that end of the crust portion extending up to the consignment of groundwater flow, then this will be called as recession limb. So correct answer will be recession limb, right? Let's move to the next question. The depth of flow of water at which the specific energy is minimum is known as. So this question is from open channel flow. The specific energy we represent it with E, and the formula of specific energy is Y plus V square by 2G. And all the formulas are derived on the base of assumption that all channel we'll consider during the calculation will be rectangular. So rectangular channel look like this. Now this is the depth, this is the base width, then the cross section area will be B into Y, and velocity is equal to discharge upon area. Area you have calculated above. Now put it here. It will come out as Q by B into Y. So E is equal to Y plus Q square B square Y square 2G. Now simplify this equation further. Wait a second. Now simplify this equation further. We'll multiply this whole term to this side, and it will come out as Y square E B square 2G equal to Y cube, and the all other portion is constant, plus Q square. As you can see that this equation is cubic equation. So if we draw a graph between E and Y, the variation of depth with respect to specific energy will be it will vary cubically. So we always write specific energy in x-axis and depth in y-axis, right? Now, if we put y is equal to infinity, so something divided by infinity is equal to 0, then you will get first expression. If we put in this particular expression y is equal to how much? Infinity, then you will get E is equal to y. E is equal to y means this line. You will get this particular line on your graph. Now decrease the value of y from infinity to 0. Infinity to 0. Then you will see that specific energy and depth relationship will vary cubically, y cube. So the curve will look like this. So from this graph you can see that if I'll move towards the right side, the specific energy will increase, and if I move towards upward side, then depth will increase. And also remember this thing as well, energy is the function of both depth and discharge. So if energy is the function of depth and discharge both, so we cannot draw this particular graph if I'll assume that discharge is constant. So you have to run a constant discharge through particular channel. So Q is constant. If I change the discharge, this curve will change, right? Now, if this is the energy, and also remember that flow is only possible in this particular line, this particular cubical line, right? If I decrease the specific energy, this point will be the minimum value of specific energy, and depth corresponding to which is critical depth. So specific energy, minimum specific energy, also known as critical energy, the depth corresponding to which is always known as critical depth, and the velocity corresponding to which is called as critical velocity. And the flow at this particular point will be critical flow. Critical flow. Above this line, flow will be subcritical. Below this line, the flow will be supercritical, right? So this, the answer of this particular question will be the critical depth. Now let's move next question. The dash is the lateral distance of an object of ground feature measured from a survey line. If I talk about chain survey, suppose this is the area I have to do chain survey. First of all, we have to mark main stations covering the whole area. First we will mark the main stations which covers whole area. Now main station are joined by main line. The line joining main station is called as main line, right? Now for measurement, the most important line in surveying is baseline, with respect to which we locate the features. So to draw baseline, the basic concept is that you have to divide the whole area into two parts. That particular line should divide the whole area into two parts. Now this is the line which is dividing the whole area into two parts, and this is called as baseline, right? Now suppose your feature is nearby, nearby is here. So when we'll do lateral measurement, it means that this is the along the length and this is the at 90 degree. So this is called as offset. If the length of this offset is less than 15 meter, we will call it as short offset. And if the length of this particular offset or this offset length is greater than 15 meter, then we'll call it long offset. So lateral distance measurement which locate the feature, which locate the exact position of feature from the baseline is called as offset. So right option is offset. Okay, let's move to the next question. The radius at entry is determined by the. Now, as you know that in highway, super elevation formula is E is equal to F equal to V square by 127 R, and this is not the generalized equation. Generalized equation, if I'll write about, it will be E plus F G R, right? This speed is considered as a 75% of design speed. So design speed is considered as 17. The speed at super elevation is considered as 75% of design speeds, right? If I'll rearrange these all, you will get GE plus F, right? So if you relate the radius, it is also related to design speed. It is also related to super elevation, your lateral friction. It means that all options are correct. So radius at entry is determined by coefficient of friction, super elevation and design speed. All of the options are right. Now, when soil is arranged in a face-to-face orientation, its structure is organized as. This particular behavior you will see in the fine-grained soil. The fine-grained soil always has flaky type of particle, is always a flaky type of particle. Flaky means chapta. The thickness is very less and length is larger, right? So he is asking that face-to-face orientation, always a dispersed structure. We'll call it dispersed structure. As you can see here, face-to-face orientation is called as dispersed. Now, next question is, dash of an aggregate is defined as weight of the aggregate divided by the total volume occupied by it is called as. So, you know that we also represented this particular term by gamma, also by rho b. So this is bulk density, or you can say bulk unit weight. So unit weight is always equal to, it is the ratio of weight by volume, and volume is total volume, which includes volume of voids plus volume of solid as well. So the ratio of weight by volume is known as bulk density. So right option is B. Let's move to the next question. The loss of head per unit length of the creep is termed as. First option is percolation coefficient. All of the options, Lamb's coefficient, creep coefficient. None of the option is actually right in this particular question, because creep coefficient, when in irrigation there is a chapter called seepage theories, in which Bilais has given the creep theory, and for design he simply suggests that C is equal to L by H. It means that this, you can also write like this. Wait a second. I should be greater than 1 by C. This is the design consideration. C is the Bilais creep coefficient. I is the hydraulic gradient, which is the ratio of head loss by length 1 by C. Now from here you can rearrange this. Wait. This should be like this, right? Now the length, creep length should be greater than CH. And from here you can see that C is equal to L by H. And in question they have asked the head unit per length H by L. So this is not the option. Lamb's coefficient is also not the option. All of the option is also wrong. But if we talk about hydraulic gradient, which is related to seepage, if as per Darcy, V is directly proportional to I, and if gradient is high, then water will seep faster, and seepage is somewhere related to percolation, then if you have to mark at least one option from it, then it would be percolation coefficient. But according to the question, none of the options are right. They have given the all options wrong. Now let's move forward. The safe stress for a hollow steel column which carries an axial load of 2100 kilonewton is 125 meganewton per meter square. The external diameter of the column is 30. So we know that hollow column look like this. This is the external diameter and this is the internal diameter, and the formula of area is pi by 4 d minus d square, right? And they have given capital D, external diameter 30 centimeter. We have to calculate the internal diameter, and for area they have given the load and stress. As you know that stress is equal to load upon area. If you will calculate area, that will be load upon stress. Now put the value of load and stress, you will get load was 2100 kilonewton. So 2100 kilonewton, you can also write it like this as well. Now stress was 125 meganewton per meter square. So mega is 10 raised to the power 6, and area will come out as 0.168 meter square. So we know the area, this is the external diameter. We can calculate the internal diameter from here, and it will come out as 0.2619 meter, and if you will convert it into centimeter, it will come 26.19 centimeters. So right option in this particular question will be 26.19. It is D. Now let's move to the next question. The boundary between pavement and shoulder of the footpath are known as. You have seen the cross section of pavement many times in your notebook or books in your college time as well. So this is the footpath portion I am drawing. This is the shoulder. This particular slant portion is shoulder, and this is your pavement. Now that particular side also will provide shoulder, then curve. So this is the footpath portion, this is the pavement portion. So in between pavement and footpath, the boundary portion will be always known as curve. This is curve. So D will be the correct answer. Now next question. The footing is on very dense sand underlain by loose sand or soft clay. They have mentioned in question that they underlain, the below is soft clay, above it they laid dense sand. The type of failure might occur, that will be the punching failure, because clay has very low bearing capacity, soft clay. So when the footing will placed on it, the failure face will be exactly directly vertical, and no bulging will be seen around that particular failure, right? So answer will be C, punching shear. Here also I have mentioned the characteristic. Failure is primarily vertical, no general upheaval or bulging of the soil surface adjacent to the footing, right? And large settlement you will see. Now next question is Hooke's law holds good up to. Hooke's law. Wait. Hooke's law holds good up to. Stress strain curve for mild steel generally look like this. And there are many points during this test we'll get. First point is A point, call it limit of proportionality. Limit of proportionality, right? And up to this point, your line will be exactly linear. Exactly linear. This is the linear portion of this curve. Linear portion, right? If this is the linear portion, it means that stress will be directly proportional to strain. This is the Hooke's law. So they have asked that Hooke's law holds good only till limit of proportionality, not beyond it, right? Because after that, stress will not be directly proportional to the strain. That's why. Now let's move further. Next question. The various activity of project shown by bar chart, also known as Gantt chart, bar chart, also known as Gantt chart, which is time and activity chart. And we represent our activities with horizontal line. So they have asked various activities of a project are shown in bar chart by horizontal lines, right? So D will be the correct answer. Now let's move further. A hump yard is a type of. Now what is yard? Yard is a particular place at which the train halt, and that particular portion we usually do sorting of wagons, rearrange the wagons as per their destination. Fueling of engine can also be done at that particular place, or many other operations are performed at yard. So the hump yard is a type of, it is a marshalling yard. Hump yard usually look like a trapezoidal shape, look like this, in which with the help of engine we'll push the particular rail at this particular top portion. Now under the action of gravity, then train will move to that particular side. So it is a hump yard. This is a hump yard. Hump yard look like this, and it is a type of marshalling yard. A ladder is resting on a rough ground and leaning against a smooth vertical wall. The force of friction will act. This is the question from mechanics. So this is the smooth vertical wall. The bottom is provided with rough surface. If you will put the ladder over here, so because this surface is smooth, the friction coefficient mu will be 0 over here, but at this surface, because this is the rough and mu will not be equal to 0, it means that you will experience friction at bottom part of the ladder, but at this top portion you will not experience any kind of friction. So a ladder is resting on rough ground surface is rough, leaning against smooth vertical wall. The force of friction will act 0 at its upper end. तो इस top end पे क्या होगा? It will be completely 0 because there is no friction coefficient. Now let's move to the next question. The telescope of the theodolite is mounted on. First, see, the theodolite is the surveying instrument by which we measure the vertical or horizontal angle. We can also measure vertical and horizontal distance as well, but with least accuracy. But for angular measurement, the accuracy of theodolite is high as compared to other instrument, right? And This particular question is asking that theodolite, suppose this is a telescope of theodolite. So theodolite is resting on which axis? So this is called as Trunnion axis. This is theodolite telescope. Sorry, telescope. Telescope always rested on Trunnion axis. If this is this, if this particular telescope will rotate totally about 180 degree in vertical plane, then it is transit theodolite. If it is not possible, then it is non-transit theodolite. But they have just only asked the telescope of theodolite mounted on Trunnion axis, always mounted on Trunnion axis. Right? Now next question. According to Indian standard specification, concrete should be cured under humidity of 90% at the temperature of about. So whenever we do the compressive strength test in RCC, you can say cement concrete. So first of all, we'll do the mixing of cement or sand. Sand should be the inert sand. Now after the filling that particular mold, we left it out for the 24 hours to set, and for 24 hours that particular temperature should be 27 degree. The range is generally 27 plus minus 2 degrees Celsius, and the humidity should 90%. So right option will be A. According to Indian standard, the temperature should be 27 degree. Now next question. According to IS 1237-2012, the average wet transverse strength of the cement concrete flooring tiles shall not be less than. So this question is from building construction, and they have asked that cement concrete flooring tiles का जो ट्रांसवर्स स्ट्रेंथ है, ट्रांसवर्स इट मीन लेटरल डायरेक्शन का जो स्ट्रेंथ है, दैट शुड नॉट बी लेस देन 3 न्यूटन पर mm square. Now let's move to the further next question. The toughness of material is measured by, as you all know that toughness is resistance against impact. If we are impacting on something, so resistance against impact loading is called as toughness. So we'll do impact test, right? Now next question. The space between two square plate parallel is filled with oil. Okay, each side of the plate is 60 centimeter. Okay, square plate they have given, and this is the side. So we can calculate the area. This is in centimeter. You can change it into the meters. 0.6 multiply by, because plate is square, 0.6 multiply by 0.6, it will come out as 0.36 meter square, right? Now the thickness of the oil film is 12.5. The upper plate which moves at 2 point V, they have given V, or you can say U, is 2.5 meter per second, right? Requires a force of 10 kg. Maintain the speed. The specific gravity of oil is 0.95. Determine the following. Okay, the dynamic viscosity of the oil and the kinematic viscosity. As you all know that mu is always equal to, I have to change, no problem, wait. As per Newton law of viscosity, tau is directly proportional to du by dy, right? If we'll remove this proportionality sign, it will come out as we'll remove it with dynamic viscosity, and the formula will look like this, right? Now we have to calculate mu. It will be tau multiply by dy by du, and tau is stress. We can remove it from force upon area. So force 10 kg, but this is given in kg. You have to change it in Newton. So for Newton, we have to multiply it from G, 9.81, and it will come out as 98.1 Newton, right? dy they have given 12.5. This is in mm. Change it into the meter. Now du du they have given in meter per second, area we have calculated here, right? So just put all the values in that particular formula, F by A dy by du, F 98.1 as I have discussed earlier. They have given 12.5 mm divided with 1000 because we have to change this particular value in meter. Now area we have calculated 0.36, 2.5 was the velocity, and your answer will come out as 1.3625 Pascal second. And we know that 1 Pascal second is equal to 10 poise. So we have to multiply this value with 10. We'll get the answer 13.625 poise. So let's see, can we eliminate the options with 1 only? Yes, we can eliminate. D is the right option because dynamic viscosity of oil is 13.62 poise, right? You can also calculate kinematic viscosity. Kinematic viscosity is represented by nu, and it is dynamic viscosity upon rho. For calculation of density, if you have to calculate a rho of oil, just multiply they have given the specific gravity of oil by rho W. What is G? This is 9.95. Multiply with it 1000 because the density of water is 1000 kg per meter cube. Now put the value in this particular expression like this. Okay, this was Pascal second, and this is the density of oil. Will come up with 0.001434 meter square per second. Now 1 meter square per second is equal to 10 to the power 4 strokes, and they have given all the options in strokes. So we have to multiply it with 10 to the power 4, and you will get the answer 14.34 strokes, right? So option D was correct option. Let's move to the next question. The resulting imbalance between wheel position at the back and the front is known as, this is known as off tracking. You have seen many times because you also drive and you feel this particular thing while negotiating on curve. When you are negotiating on curve, the wheel base of the vehicle is always rigid. Rigid means it is fixed, and this is the front axle and this is the rear axle, right? So front axle, this is front axle, this is rear axle. So rear axle will not follow the path which is traversed by front axle. In that case, you will see some type of off tracking, and this is known as mechanical widening, sometimes also when number of lanes is 1. Okay, let's move to the next question. The dash is also known as reticulation system. This is grid iron system. So grid iron system look like this. This is the main pipe. These are the branch pipe, and in between these are the sub mains. And you are seeing that here they have provided scar walls. Scar walls are generally provided for removal of sediment deposited in pipe. So whenever sediment get deposited in pipe, we remove with the help of scar walls. Now, this particular system is best or good system because if anything happen in this particular region where from where the pipeline is going, we can divert water from other pipeline also, and all the area will get water supply even if there is a problem in one particular portion. So this is also known as reticulation system. Now, what are the disadvantages of timber sleeper? See, timber, as you as you have seen that all old tracks were made with the help of timber sleeper. So timber sleeper have few of advantages, like they are easy to handle, they are lightweight, they have good vibration absorbing capacity, but the lifespan of timber sleeper is very less. So over the time we have removed it with a cast iron sleeper. Then nowadays we use RCC sleepers. So they are asking that what are the disadvantages of timber sleeper? Disadvantage. So disadvantage of timber sleeper have very less resistive to weathering agencies. Like if there is a condition of sudden drying and wetting, so they will warp, or maybe cracking will occur, right? And they have less resistance against termite action, fungus action. So here options are easy to handle, this is the advantage. Liable to attack by vermin, so must be properly treated before use, right? Because they are liable to attack of fungus and termites. So usually what we do, we paint that particular sleeper with oil paint or simple simple tarring. So we can do tarring as well, because tarring is a very cheap process by which we can preserve, we can increase the life of timber sleepers, right? So correct answer is here is B. Now next question, which is the correct group with respect to shape of transition curve? So transition curve is of three types. One is spiral, which is best suitable for horizontal alignment. Next one is your cubical parabola, which is very suitable or very ideal for the vertical profile or vertical alignment. So the transition curve, this first one with red diagram, this is spiral, this is lemniscate, and last one is cubic parabola. So cubic parabola generally preferred for vertical profile or vertical alignment, right? And spiral are generally preferred in case of horizontal alignment. So only in case of highway, right? So right option will be spiral, cubic parabola, and lemniscate. Yes, so right option will be A. Let's move to the next question. Bernoulli principle assume that the flow is steady or laminar, unsteady or laminar, non-uniform or turbulent, uniform or turbulent. So if you talk about Bernoulli principle, the Bernoulli principle derived under the assumption of, first, flow should be steady, incompressible. Steady means the flow property does not change with respect to time. What is incompressibility? Density should be constant. Non-viscous and flow should be always along the streamline. So in option steady is, they have given steady. Laminar is not the assumption, but we have to tick one option at least. So you can tick A, because steady flow is there, that's why, right? So partially correct answer is A. Now next question, the rate of rainfall for the successive 1 hour period of 6 hour storm are 2 centimeter per hour, 10 centimeter per hour, 2 centimeter per hour, 8 centimeter per hour, 2 centimeter per hour, and 1 centimeter per hour. If the resulting runoff of the storm is 15 centimeter, then find the value of phi. What is phi? Phi is generally rainfall minus runoff divided by T. They have given the all values of rainfall, right? Runoff they have given 15 centimeter. T they have given as 6 hours. You can easily calculate it like this. Total runoff 2 plus 10 plus 2, 8 plus 2 plus 1 is 25. So 25 minus 15, rainfall minus runoff will be equal to losses. That will come out 10 centimeter. Now we have to calculate phi. Phi is equal to P minus R upon T. It will come as 1.67 centimeter per hour. So the correct option will be D, 2.8. Wait. No. Let me check once. 1.67. So option A will be right, not D. A will be the correct option. A. The normal altitude of GPS satellite is about generally 20,000 kilometers above the surface of Earth. Above the surface of Earth. So usually whenever you will see the data on an average, most of the satellites flew in the orbit near about at the height of 19,000 to 2,000 above the Earth surface. Okay. Next, according to the concept of limit state design as per IS 456-2000, the probability of failure of structure is, so they have given option 0.8, 0.09, 0.9, 0.08. First of all, you have to understand what is the criteria for material, characteristic strength. The 5% test results are expected to fail. It means the probability of passing will be 95%, that it will do satisfactory 95% when we'll use that particular material in structure. And for load as well, the design load, always consider that the probability of failure of that particular load is 5%. So 5 plus 5, 10%. So near about option is B, because here you can see this is 9.75%. So option B is right. Next, find the intensity of vertical pressure and horizontal shear stress at a point 3 meter directly below an 18 kilonewton point load acting at a horizontal ground surface. This is from soil Boussinesq equation you can use here. The Boussinesq equation for point load, they have given the load Q 18 kilonewton. We have to calculate the stress at depth of 3 meter directly below the load. Radial distance is 0. So formula for stress calculation just below the load at Z depth of height is 0.4775 Q by Z square. Q 18, Z was 3 ka square is 9. Then you will get the answer 0.955 kilonewton per meter square. So right option will be C, 0.95 kilonewton per meter square. Okay, for a beam of cross section width 230 and effective depth 500, the number of rebar of 12 mm diameter required to satisfy minimum tension reinforcement requirement specified by IS 456, assuming steel of grade Fe 500. As you know that minimum area of steel we can calculate from this formula. This I'll write it here. Area steel minimum will be equal to 0.85 divided by Fy multiplied by BD. This is the minimum area of steel we have to provide in B. So they have given the B, width of the beam section, effective depth of the beam section, Fy grade they have given Fe 500. So we'll put 500 over here and you will get the minimum area of steel equal to 195.5 mm square. Now the area of one bar, they have given the diameter of one bar 12 mm square. Diameter, I think they have given diameter, right? Yes, diameter, number of rebar 12 mm diameter. Yes, diameter. So we can also calculate from this pi by 4 into d square. You can write it like this as well, and pi r square. So they have put this value in terms of radius. You will get area of one bar 113 mm square. Now number of bar provided, total number of area of steel upon area of one bar. So you'll get 1.73 round of 2 bar. So answer would be in this case 2 bar. Option B is the right answer. Now next question. Among 5 rain gauge A, B, C, D, P, rain gauge station P was inoperative for a part of the month when a storm occurred due to various natural reasons. The rainfall recorded during the same period in other 4 stations A, B, C, D were 10.5, 12, 14, 9 respectively. The average rainfall figure of the all of the 5 A, B, C, D and P in the basin of 80, 90, 100, 70, 120 centimeter respectively, then the value of missing storm rainfall at P station. So if we have missing rainfall data at particular station, we can calculate from this formula. Precipitation at P station, right? This is the normal precipitation at that particular station upon number of other stations. This is precipitation at all other stations. This is normal precipitation at all other stations. Sum of all I equal to 1 is to n. So NP, normal precipitation at P station, they have given 120. Other stations are 4. This is the value of rainfall. This is normal precipitation value, and you can calculate PP and it will come out as 16 centimeter. So in any area, if the particular station not able to acquire the rainfall data due to any circumstance, like some person, किसी ने वो जो पूरा स्टेशन है वो अपने साथ लेके चले गए, एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट देयर कुड बी अदर रीजन एज वेल, लाइक फॉल्टी इंस्ट्रूमेंट, कि वो जो इंस्ट्रूमेंट है एट दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइम वो ऑपरेट नहीं कर पाया. सो दीज कुड बी द रीजन, that's why that particular station could not record the data. So for that particular station we can calculate the missing data by this particular formula which I have discussed here, and the correct option for this question will be 16 centimeter, right? Now dash is the function of both pumping rate and pumping period. Pumping rate and pumping period. Okay, this is called as formation loss. So this is the head loss due to laminar flow of water through the aquifer formation. So this is question from groundwater hydrology. Next, a girder having 2 or more web. When a girder having 2 or more web, then it is called as box girder. So correct answer will be box girder. Girder is a alternative name in steel structure for beams. Beam also known as girder. Next question. The dash of the rivet is the distance between two consecutive. So in a steel structure, suppose this is your double cover butt joint. These are rivet. So distance between two consecutive rivet in the direction of force, parallel to the force, is known as pitch. So this is called as pitch. And perpendicular to the force, the distance between two consecutive rivet will be gauge. Okay. Let's move to the next question. Dynamic formulae are the best suited for coarse grained soil. You all know that the dynamic formula are best suited for coarse grained soil. Here I have given the explanations, right? You can pause it, read it out. Now, according to the screening process in the water treatment plant, bar screen are spaced at. So, when we do the water treatment plant and water is coming from any particular river or stream, that might have the large debris particle like stone, wood, leaves. So, we have to screen it out. So, there are two type of screen. One is coarse screen, second one is fine screen. So the screening process, the water treatment plant bar screen are spaced at 25 to 50 mm center to center. So they are talking about coarse grained screen, right? Okay, next. Evaporation through plant and from the surrounding soil together is called as. So transpiration is the process when water get lost into the atmosphere after photosynthesis process. So whenever we irrigate a land, the root will ambition that particular soil moisture from the land and then take it to the leaf top, and when sunlight will come out, photosynthesis process will start, and after the photosynthesis the water, whichever water is lost into the atmosphere is known as transpiration. And and water lost into the atmosphere from the surrounding soil is known as evaporation. So it is called as evapotranspiration. The right option is D. A circular plate of diameter 200 mm is welded to another flat plate using 4 mm fillet weld. Calculate the torque that can be resisted by weld assuming Fe410 steel and shop welding. They have also given the under root 3 value. So we know that permissible stress in case of fillet weld always taken as ultimate strength divided by, because in fillet weld after the force plate will be in shear, so this under root 3 is coming just because to compensate the shear. Now gamma mv they have given shop welding. Yes, shop welding they have, I think, written somewhere. Assuming shop welding, yes, 1.25. You can calculate the permissible stress, right? This is tau. Now torque equal to, you know the torsional formula, tau T equal to T upon IP equal to tau upon R equal to G theta by L. So T is equal to will be tau multiplied by IP upon R. Tau, we have calculated the tau permissible shear stress. IP, because this is the circular plate, so it will be look like a thin circular strip plate, and for that formula of IP is 2 pi R cube T. 2 pi R cube T. So IP you can calculate from here, 2 pi R cube T. Thickness they have given, radius we know the radius. Now R they have given the diameter 200, the radius will be 100, right? So you can calculate first of all the allowable shear stress, as I have told you earlier, Fu divided by under root 3 gamma mw, it will come out as 189.38. Now effective throat thickness always calculated as KSK, because the plate is at 90-degree angle, that's why we take the K value is 0.7. They have given in the question the size of weld is 4 mm. So the effective throat thickness will be 2.8 mm. Now, polar moment of inertia, it means we sometimes represent it as IP or J, that will be 2 pi r cube T. So it will come out as this value. Now you can calculate torque. This is the permissible shear stress, this is the IP, this is the R. We will come up with this. So they have given, I think, answer in kilonewton. So you have to divide it by 1000. They have given the option in kilonewton meter. So also 1000 for changing in kilonewton, mm into meter. Also divide this whole value by another 1000. You will come up with 3.3 kilonewton meter. So answer will be for this particular question. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is coming out as 3.33 kilonewton meter. Might be these options, they have mistyped it. So answer C would be the correct answer, 3.33 kilonewton meter. This is the right answer. Now let's move to the next question. The bending moment diagram of a simply supported beam which carries a point load at its center. Okay, we know this. This is the simply supported beam. One end is hinge, other end is roller and subjected to concentrated load. The bending moment diagram will be in triangular shape. So triangle with maximum ordinate at the center of the beam. So C will be the right answer. Now next question. If the angular measurement of a traverse are more precise than the linear measurement, then balancing of traverse is done by transit rule method. If angular measurement and linear measurement are equally precise, then we use Bowditch rule for that particular situation. But when angular measurement are more precise, it means that we have done the angular measurement with more precise instrument as compared to the linear measurement. In that particular case, transit rule is used for the adjusting the error in traverse, right? Okay. Next, the length of survey line when measured with the chain of 20 meter nominal length was found to be 841.5 meter. When the chain was compared with the standard, it was found to be 0.1 meter too long. Compute the correct length of the line. We know the formula. If you have to calculate the correct length of measured line, then wrong length of tape, correct length of tape multiplied by measured length. So measured length is how much? This is the measured length, 841.5, and chain wrong length is 2.1 meter and the correct length was 20 meter. If you will solve it, you will get 845.71. So answer A will be the right answer, as you can see here. Wait a second. Okay, let's move to the next question. The degree of static determination in rigid joint plane frame. They have given that 21 members are there, 3 reactions with 17 joints. So what is the DS? So formula for DS calculation for plane frame is DS equal to 3M plus R. M represents the number of member, R represents the reactions, number of reactions, J represents the number of joint. So you can put the given values and DS will come out as 15. So right answer is C. Right answer is C. Now, which of the following flows is applicable with the Euler equation, potential flow? So Euler equation govern the motion of inviscid. Inviscid means non-viscous, frictionless fluid. So potential flow, which is also known as irrotational flow, is a description of fluid flow with no vorticity, right? So you can read this particular thing over here. So correct answer was potential flow. Now next question, which one of the following is used to measure the difference in pressure between 2 points in a pipe or in two different pipe? Differential manometer are used. This is a simple one liner question. So differential manometer will be the right answer. The field capacity of the irrigation soil depends on. So field capacity means that how much water is stored within the soil after removal of gravity water. So whenever you will do the irrigation in the field, first the gravity water will flow out from or drained out under the action of gravity and will join the groundwater table. After that, the remaining water, which is hygroscopic plus capillary water, is called as field capacity. So field capacity include hygroscopic and capillary water. So capillary water generally stored in fine grain soil, because fine grain soil has that particular capillarity action through which they can retain the water, and that water cannot easily flow under the action of gravity. So it depends on, right, proportion of the pore space, exactly, surface area of soil grain. So C will be the answer. C, all of the above. Now the ratio of mean supply discharge to full supply. This is capacity factor. Capacity factor is the ratio of, you can also say the average supply to design, average supply or average discharge to maximum discharge. So capacity factor is the ratio of mean supply to full supply, and the canal are designed on the basis of this particular factor. Now at the point of equator, the angle of dip, if you will see, this is the equator portion, the horizontal line is this. So if I'll put the compass over pole, it will be in the direction of poles. It will stood exactly vertical at the pole. So angle is 90 degree, and at equator you will see the angle will be 0. So the right option is B. The abrasion resistance of the concrete is increased by which of the following measure? Abrasion resistance, it means hardness of concrete can be increased by. So what is hardness? Hardness is resistance against wear and tear, also known as abrasion. Resistance against scratching, which is also called as indentation mark. So how can we increase the abrasion resistance? It means that how can we increase the hardness of concrete? By addition of steel fiber, maybe. Increasing the cover thickness, this option is not right. None of the option. Reducing the water cement ratio. Water by cement ratio, it means cement is more and water is less. So if cement is more, water is less, strength will be more. Strength will be more, the hardness will be more. It means that resistance against abrasion will be more. So the right option will be reducing water cement ratio. According to hydrograph concept, dash is the simple linear model that can be used to derive the hydrograph resulting from the amount of excess rainfall. So first of all, we draw first the flood hydrograph, and after that the each ordinate if we'll divide by excess rainfall, then we'll get unit hydrograph. So unit hydrograph will be the right answer for this particular question. Now next, according to the drinking water standard as per BIS 10500 2012, the limit of lead in the drinking range up to I think 0.05 mg per liter should be the right answer. Yes, right. The for lead the limit, maximum permissible limit 0.05. Next, the diffuser air aeration system compressed air at the pressure of 35 kilonewton meter per square to 70 kilonewton per square is introduced into the aeration tank through diffusion plate. So right option is D. Next, the area of pile group along the failure surface is equal to, this is also a one-liner question, perimeter multiplied by length, because we have to take the peripheral area. And how can we calculate the peripheral area of pile? It will be perimeter multiplied by whole length. Then we'll get the peripheral surface area of particular pile. So right option will be perimeter into length. Now the dimension of the bulb in an under-reamed pile can be checked by galvanized iron pipe assembly. Yes, C is the right answer. Yes, often referred as GI pipe assembly or a checking rod gauge. The time by which activity completion time can be delayed without affecting the start of succeeding activity is known as free float. I think the right option will be, yeah, free float. So if we are doing any construction in at any particular site and the activity completion time can be delayed without affecting the start of succeeding activity is known as free float. Yes, that is free float. Dash is the volume of water released from the storage per unit decline in piezometer head per unit area of aquifer is known as storage coefficient. Yes, this is storage coefficient. Storage coefficient is volume of water released upon unit area of aquifer multiplied by unit decline in piezometer head. Next, what is the estimate of domestic 135 liter per day per capita as per IS 172-1971? So this is the table. You can also go through this table. This is the table for domestic water 135 LPCD, industrial water demand minimum 50, maximum 450. So minimum value is for the small industries, and for large industries you can take 450 LPCD, which is almost 20 to 25% of total consumption of city, right? For institutional 50 LPCD, for public use 10 LPCD. Demand to compensate losses 15% of total consumption, and fire demand. Fire demand can be calculated by various formula like Kuchling formula, Buston formula. There are various formula through which you can calculate fire demand as well. Now, next question. Which of the following statement is not true about geodetic survey? So, geodetic survey is generally performed when the area is greater than 250 km square, in which the curvature of earth, we always assumed the curvature of earth. It means that curvature of earth is considered. So curvature of earth is ignored. Not true. Curvature of earth, we usually considered the curvature of earth, but he is asking that which one of is not true. So first option is not true. Surveys done on large area like greater than 250 km square. Triangle are considered as spherical angle. It is also right. Line joining any two station considered as spherical. So as you can see that in plane survey, which is perform less than 250 kilometer square area. If you will connect two lines, you will get a plane triangle. But in geodetic survey, curvature of earth has considered, so you will get a spherical triangle and the angle will be also known as spherical angle. So option A is right. According to drinking water standard as per BIS, the limit of aluminium, A is the right, 0.03 mg per liter is the right answer according to BIS for aluminium in drinking water. Active volcanoes are the natural source of dash in the atmosphere. For oxide is the right answer. So D is the correct answer. Sulfur oxides. Next, dash is due to the presence of finely divided colloidal soluble impurities in like inorganic matter, clay, silica, silt is turbidity. As you know that the turbidity is generally based on the principle of scattering and absorption of light. So it is due to the presence of colloidal, maybe due to the insoluble impurities like inorganic matter or clay, the fine grained organic matter or fine grained soil. So this is turbidity. Next question. Dash is defined as the time difference between any two successive vehicles when they cross a given point. It is called as time headway. The time difference between two consecutive vehicles. First this vehicle passed, now this vehicle passed from this particular section again. So time difference between each two consecutive vehicle is known as time headway. Next question. Dash is the main base of determine the allowable stress of steel, that is yield strength, because allowable stress is generally yield strength upon factor of safety. Allowable, permissible or design stress is always equal to, for steel they have mentioned steel, that's why Fy, right? If they have asked that concrete, then it would be FCK divided by factor of safety. Now next question. The consistency and flow resistance of bitumen can be determined by viscosity test. This is very simple question. Now next question. Contact pressure always equal to load upon area. So load would be the load of wheel and area would be the contact area. So D is the right option. The maximum permissible limit from creep length. What is creep? The longitudinal movement of railway track in the direction of movement of rail is known as creep. So permissible limit for creep is 150 mm. 150 mm, the limit. Now, according to principle of transmissibility of force, when a force acted on a body, it affects. What is principle of transmissibility? Let me explain it first. Like this is the body, and I have applied force over here. Now, this is the line of action again, and I have changed this force from this side to this side. So the effect of it means that when load is here, the displacement might, suppose A, delta A, and here displacement is delta B, then this would be equal. So it is asking, according to principle of transmissibility of force, when the force acted on a body, it affects maximum at its CG. No, because if this force is acting away from the CG, it will create bending also. Same at every point of its line action. ओ सेम लाइन ऑफ एक्शन पे सेम रहेगा, बी विल बी द आंसर. As I have told you, B is the right answer. Same at every point in its line of action. Next question. The bed slope in slow sand filter is generally kept at the slope of. It is generally kept at 1 in 100. Generally kept at slope of 1 in 100. So right answer would be 1 in 100. 1 in 100. One in 100. Wait a second. Yeah, the right answer would be 1 in 100. Now the degree of saturation is, you know that the degree of saturation is the ratio of volume of water upon volume of void. So degree of saturation will be volume of water upon volume of void. How much pore are saturated in the void? How much percentage of volume of water is present in void is called as degree of saturation. So option C would be the right. Now next move to the next question. Okay, the alpha is the helix angle, is the angle of friction. Then when will be the efficiency of screw jack will be maximum? Alpha equal to 45 plus 5 by 2. So, oh sorry, 45 minus 5 by 2 is the right answer. 45 minus 5 by 2 is the right answer. Now next question. Main reinforcement in RC slab consists of 10 mm bar at spacing of 10 centimeter. If it is desired to replace 10 mm bar by 12 mm bar, then the spacing of 12 mm bar should be. So area of steel formula for this particular case will be A1 by SV. If I will put this value, it will be pi by 4 into D1 square or SV1. Rearrange this. तो SB1 को इधर लेके आओ, then it will be directly proportional to D1 का square. So SV2 upon D2 का square. So they have given the spacing 10 for first case. SV2 we have to calculate it. D1 is 10 mm and this one is 12 mm square. So when you will solve it, you will get 12 का square multiplied by 10 divided by 10 into 10 SV2. So 10 से 10 you can cancel out. This is 144 by 10. It will come out as 14.4. 14.4 centimeter will be the right answer. Which of the following gases usually has least proportion according to the percentage by volume in clean dry air? Clean dry air. So here is the table. Xenon has approximate percentage by volume is very less, which is less in above all given options. So as you can see that xenon would be the answer for this particular question. Xenon, it means option A is the right answer. Now let's move to the next question. Buoyancy raft, also known as floating foundation, deep cellular raft, all of the option. The alternative name of buoyancy raft are floating foundation, deep cellular raft, and as well as compensated foundation. Now, a cyclonic scrubber can reach the efficiency 99%. So option C would be the right answer. can reach up to the 99%. For large particle 95 to 99%, for medium range particle 80 to 95, for small 50 to 80. So maximum value it can reach will be up to 99%. Cyclonic scrubber. Next, the rise or fall in excess of the floating gradient. So this question is saying rise, it means rise in excess, floating gradient. It means that your gradient is more than floating gradient, right? Fall in excess, your falling gradient is more than floating gradient. Then in both case, we will have ineffective rise and ineffective fall. Then in that particular case, we will have ineffective rise or ineffective fall, because in that particular case the comfort will be not there, because usually we design the particular highway for floating gradient. In that particular case, if your rise is more than your slope is more than floating gradient, then it will give more resistance to vehicle to move towards the slope. So this will also occur in falling grade as well, because falling grade is also in excess. So ineffective rise and ineffective fall would be the answer, right answer. Now the ratio between the length and diameter of fiber is called as aspect ratio. Length upon diameter of the fiber is called as aspect ratio. The maximum shear stress for rectangular beam, we all know that 1.5. So tau max will be 1.5 of tau average. So option D would be the correct answer. So tau max would be 1.5 of tau average in case of rectangular beam, when we are comparing maximum shear stress or average shear stress. Static friction is always greater than dynamic friction. Always greater than dynamic friction. Always greater than. Why it is so? Because in case of static friction, the body will be in static position and the member will feel more load. If you slide it, the friction force will be more. But in sliding or rolling case, जो कि आपका यूजुअली डायनामिक के केस में होता है, in that particular case friction force will be less. So that's why static friction is always greater than dynamic friction. Now a number of forces laying in one plane and intersecting at one point. If any forces in one plane and intersecting at one point, coplanar concurrent will be the right answer, because all forces are lying on same plane and meeting at a same point. So C would be the right answer, coplanar concurrent. Next, dash is an angle made with the horizontal direction in the magnetic meridian of Earth by the Earth magnetic field line is called as dip. It is called as dip. Next, the Venturi scrubber can clean about I think 2000 liter of gas per minute. The right answer would be 2000 liter per minute, right? Next, the clear vertical distance between highest point of the intrados and the springing line is known as rise. So it is asking about this height, so it is called as rise. Which of the following principle is used in hydrometer analysis? Stokes law. Because whenever we do hydrometer analysis, in that particular case, the settling velocity, which is generally based on the Stokes law. So Stokes law is the principle which is used in hydrometer analysis. Now, according to the pH classification, acidic and basic substance. An example of acidic, vinegar is acidic, we know that. This is basic or alkaline. Laundry detergent is also alkaline or basic. Both cannot be the option, because vinegar is acidic and laundry detergent is basic. The load carrying capacity of column designed for the working stress method of 5 kilonewton, the collapse load. In case of working stress method, the factor of safety we usually use for calculation of collapse load is gamma F multiplied by given load. So it will be your collapse load. So gamma F is 1.5 multiplied by 500. It will be come out as 750. 750 will be the right answer. Yes. Now next, Bernoulli equation assume that we have already discussed that flow should be steady, non-viscous. All of the options are right. Yes, all of the options. Non-viscous, incompressible, homogeneous, along the streamline, and steady. Okay, the last question. The length of the sedimentation tank should be at least 4 times width of the tank. So, student, this was the paper of BDL Bharat Dynamics Limited, which was held in 2025 in the month of April only. So we have discussed this whole paper. So those have liked the video can comment below, or if you haven't joined, if you haven't subscribed the channel, please subscribe the channel and share as much as you can. So see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.